Hey everyone, Sean Savin Moo at your service. Today we're going to be talking about which is the better tee height for you. What are you comfortable with? Many of you are able to take it off the top tee, but you haven't optimized those numbers yet. And many of you just have too much of a hard time catching it on the way up, and you've got this nasty descending angle of attack with the driver that's causing these big balloons and you go nowhere. We have a solution for you on that one with the shorter tee. Not exactly what you think, but I'm telling you, it works like crazy. You want to stay tuned for this one. And of course, before we start, we would just love for you to be a part of Wisdom in Golf. Please subscribe to the channel.
Leave a comment or question down below and give us a thumbs up.
Yep, and also hit that bell so you don't miss any videos.
All right, so I'm going to show you the two options technically, and you'll see what is better for you to go with. Now, if you're looking for some extra distance off the tee, and you really want to maximize your numbers the way Sav and Moo and I are doing, this is always a lot of fun. So what I like to do is I'm going to tee it up with the majority of the ball that is hanging over the top of the club. Many of you are going to be a little skittish with this because you don't want to pop fly the ball and go nowhere. So it's really important that you understand how the arc of the swing works. For that, I'm going to go to my favorite little tool here. We got a ball on a string. So if you look, if I take this and I send it into a nice circle, you can see where the bottom of that arc is, can't you? So I'm going to put that here and I'm going to bring it over to the tee, and you can see that I'm actually clipping the tip of the tee slightly on the way up with that. Notice the bottom of that arc is well behind the tee. That's exactly what we're looking for. So if I only had one arm, the center of that arc would be my shoulder. Since I'm bringing both hands together to take my grip, well, the bottom of that arc is going to be basically in the center of my feet. So I'm going to put the tee opposite my forward foot, and then I'm going to see where the bottom of my arc is. There it is, and then bring that over. So you'll notice now when I'm swinging back and through, I'm catching the tip of the tee ever so slightly on the way up. Well, that's going to give me a very high launch, very low spin, nice carry, and it's going to roll out for me. So I put the ball there. I have my intermediate point right there, and notice where I'm setting up. So the center is there. Now it feels like I can catch the tip of the tee on the way up, still on the way up, still on the way up, still on the way up. We're good. Notice the hat that I have on. That's a nice visual reference for you to catch it on the way up. So I set the tip of my cap. Notice right now it looks like I'm going to catch it on the way up. Watch as I go back. Can't catch it on the way up anymore. That is a pop fly in the making right there. So now everything's going to go down and under the ball, and off the ball goes in the air. I break my tee. If I don't do that and I catch it on the way down, the ball's going to go left and balloon up to the right and give me a ton of spin. So I'll stay right there. And my goal now is to just clip the tip of the tee. My eyes are on the tee, and I feel like I'm constantly catching the tip of the tee on the way up, and we'll go with that. Now I got a really nice launch, but just a hair too much spin because I caught that a little bit off the bottom of the club. So I'll do another one for you. So not bad. I mean, he was 290. See, my angle of attack was 5.4 up, 6.2 from the inside. That's perfect. Let's go one more. A little less forward in my stance. All right, so I'm just going to stay with that. That's not bad.
That's looking really good.
That is not bad. Sav, you're the beast. Huh? Sav says, I think it's a little too far forward, Dad. That's why you hit it a little low on the face. Well, looky here. We got it right there on the kisser. And there are the numbers that we're looking for. So 291 carry, 321 total. Not bad for an old guy who's going to be 56 in a few days. Huh? Woo, woo, woo. So let's look at now on a low tee. If I was going for accuracy, and we talked about before, if you tend to balloon the ball, too much spin, we're going to play the ball lower. So if you look now, if I just ground my club behind the ball is sitting right there in the center of the face. So all I got to do is just follow the ground like a fairway would. I'm not trying to hit down on anything. I'm just trying to stay along the ground. So you now have the ground as a training aid to keep you in play. So now I'm going to do it just like a fairway would. Club in the center, ball forward to that. And now I'm just following the ground with the sole of the club. My eyes are on the tee, not on the ball. And my attention is on the sole of the club, staying along the surface of the ground. So here we go. That's it. There's my fairway finder right there. You'll notice it's a much lower ball flight, but still 260, 290 total, right? So I'm losing a good 20 yards. But now look, I'm hitting it right in the center of the face. Now my angle of attack is 0.9 up. So I'm 1 degree up on my angle of attack. And you know, the face is very stable. My face was only 2 degrees closed. And you look at the, what was the path on that? My path was 3 degrees in to out. So you'll notice it stabilizes the path as well, okay? So all you got to do is follow the ground in the direction that you want to start the ball, okay? Now, for the in-betweens, let's look at Moo and Sav, and let's see what makes them, you know, deliver at the efficiency for them, okay? How was that? That looks good. All right. Good. Now, those numbers are really good, Sav, right? So notice that was right in the center of the face, 4 degrees up. When you're training in the winter, I remember you're like 7, 8 degrees up, and that's why you were getting a lot more carry. But this is like your competition. Yeah. And you'll notice that because when you're competing, you're a long player, but we're on tree line courses around here. Yeah. And actually, a lot of the times, you need to quiet down your distance because you actually have too much distance for a lot of the courses that we're playing. Yeah. So your competition distance with the driver has been around 275. So you're carrying the ball around 255, 260, 275, 280 is what you're up to. So, I mean, but those numbers are absolutely perfect. So that was 103 miles an hour, club speed, and your carry on that was 255, 275 total. So you got a nice rollout on that. Yep. 4 degrees up, and your angle of attack was, oh no, your launch angle, sorry, was 14 degrees. Normally your launch angle is around 16, 17 degrees. Yeah. So go ahead and set up. Notice how high she has that on the tee. And tell me when you're ready. There you go. So notice she has the club on the ground. She likes to feel it on the ground. And when she takes it back, you're going to hear a nice little brush of the mat. And when you want to catch it on the way up, you want to see that brush along the ground. So if you teed it up higher, you would go lower on the backswing and higher on the follow through. So go ahead and set up. You can actually see Savannah ready to hit the tip of the tee on the way up from there. Look at that nice tilt. So show me a tilt where you go under the ball, Sav. There you go. So all you got to do is face the ball and, be prepared. Don't do it because, you're going to put a big mark on the top of your club. That's the last thing you want to do. So show me in slow motion your backswing now. Notice she hasn't changed that angle at all. She still has that beautiful tilt. Doesn't that look like it's going to unwind from the inside and catch it on the way up very naturally? And notice how she's got a very strong grip. Well, the more on the way up you catch it, the more closed your face needs to be. So this is really important for you to understand. When I had the ball low on the tee and I was following the ground like a fairway would, I don't need to close it as much. But Sav and Moo, because they're playing it, catching it more on the way up, and when I'm playing it and I'm teeing it up higher, I actually have to close the face more. Because go ahead and take your setup where, let's say, the ball was on the ground. Show me, let's say you're hitting a fairway wood, right? So now you're just staying along the surface of the ground.
Yeah.
Now from there, you don't really have to change much, do you?
No.
Okay? So you see how that works now? So let's see what Moo's got for us. Oh my goodness.
There we go. Oh, we should push the back edge.
Yeah, we should have pushed it back, Moo. Okay, peoples.
360.
Moo never ceases to amaze me. So, you bugger.
That was his first drive.
First drive. Okay, first take, 130 miles an hour. So I put it on the club data. That's Go back to there. Okay. So club, here we go. So you guys now can see 130 miles an hour club speed, efficiency 1.4, your carry's 335, total 360.
Yeah, that makes sense. Backspin is what?
The backspin there is at 1600. Can you believe it?
That's perfect, yeah.
So you're at 6 degrees up, right in the center of the face. So we can see that the higher tee for Moo works pretty gosh darn good. So let's look at the rest of your setup here.
Okay.
So people can really get some good stuff out of that. Is that the right height?
I'll adjust it.
Okay, so you like to have the ball completely above the club.
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. So notice he's got diagonal stance because you're going for a draw right now, right?
Yeah, I'm dominating draw.
So in order to hit the draw, he's got to start the ball to the left of the intermediate point. This is really important.
Yeah.
So as he's swinging out to the left, notice his feet are diagonally set. So he's got a platform under his swing as he goes to the left of that intermediate point. If he was hitting a fade, then his stance would be a little more offset, and they would still be able to support it because he'd be swinging to the right of the intermediate point.
That's right.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Ooh, what a flight. What a flight.
The speed.
That was nutted.
Yeah.
Just had a lot of spin on that one though, right?
Yeah.
That was one, so you're looking at 350. Let's look at the angle of attack on that one. It's probably a little lower, right?
It was lower, yeah. Just based off the flight I saw.
So 3.4 up instead of 5.
Correct.
Right in the center of the face though.
Yeah.
And backspin on that was 2,300. That was still really good, Moo.
That
It wasn't like 1,700,
yeah.
which would have taken you to 360.
Yeah, if it was like 7 or 8 degrees up, that would have gotten me that spin for sure.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So we hope you understood a lot more what we're trying to do with the driver and how you can benefit and max up max out your numbers like this guy. And so if you're really struggling at catching the ball up, a really good bridge is what I showed you. You tee it up on the knob. If you follow the ground, you feel like the ball's going to hit the center of the face. As you follow the ground, you'll shallow out the swing very naturally, and then start to bring it up and then you'll feel like you'll be able to catch it a little bit more on the upswing, and then we'll get you some extra distance carry, keeping the spin down, and we'll get you some more distance. All right? Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you next week.